Here with good friend and associate head coach, Tyler Botte from Molloy College. Had the pleasure of knowing Tyler for, 4 or 5 years now, Ty?
Yeah, good time.
Yeah, exactly. Had the opportunity to work on a regular basis together. Not only sending guys over to you at Molloy, but also on a youth level, coaching wise, spending many times in the office here together, a couple trips, one trip internationally. Got to really get to know you, got to know how we operate, and really enjoy the friendship and enjoy the time. So let's talk about a little bit about you and your history as a youth player. We'll get into how you got into getting to Molloy, getting into Hofstra, right, where you play. You graduated, you're a little bit of time after that, and then getting into coaching. So associate head coach, 6 years, New York guy through and through, right, North Babylon. Played locally at Hofstra, played locally club level, still continue to play now at a really high level here in the ethnic leagues locally. Had a huge career as a player. Continued to coach both collegiately and at the youth level. So really dedicated and intertwined into the fabric of the New York area, Long Island specific. I would say my experience with you is you are definitely got the nose to the ground, really grinding and know just about all the players locally. Pride yourself on that recruiting side of things and really understanding the landscape. And coming from a really big sports family, right? So really in your blood and a passion, right? Being a part of soccer. So let's get into it right away. Let's talk about club level as a youth player. Where did you play club and who was your coach and what was your experiences with that?
Yeah. First off, thanks, Scotty, for having me on. I grew up playing locally from the time I started kicking around in North Babylon under my grandpa and then my dad all the way up until high school, actually. And then I took a move once I got into high school to Massapequa, played for the Massapequa Aces under Hofstra coach Richie Nuttall. The youth landscape now compared to then is much different, as we all know. In short time, I graduated 10 years ago, and from then to now, things are just so drastically different. I then, in high school, moved also into St. Anthony's. It was a great experience. This was before any restrictions were really placed on players maybe not being able to participate, as the DA was basically just launched and it was in its early stages. But it was definitely a very, very good time with some very good players, and was lucky to play under some really cool coaches that had a lot of experience, Gene Boniuto, Don Carrera, Rich Ralzo. But it was a really, really good time and a great experience there. Then continued playing for Richie Nuttall over at Hofstra University, which was probably some of the best years of my life, to be completely honest. There's not many better guys or funnier guys as Richie is. So as you can imagine, I had a great time there and learned a ton from both him and Gary and Graham and all my coaches during my 4 years. So really some of the best moments of my life that I'll never forget. And that's really it. That was pretty much my
huge personality with Richie, man.
Huge personality.
Right? Yeah.
Nobody big.
Great guy, right? Great program, had a lot of success. Doing some really, really good things over there. They are, especially the coaching staff now, right? Everybody's really fully invested recruiting around the world. What position did you play at Hofstra?
I played center back all 4 years. If you know Richie, there was definitely some times that he got the itch when maybe we were trailing in some games to put me up top and stick my nose into things, because that's what I tend to do. But pretty much all 4 years I played center back.
That's great. After Hofstra, right, which includes now still playing?
All the way up until basically this fall. As I just touched on, I have a tendency to stick my nose into some things, and the fiance wasn't too happy with me coming home with some gashed eyebrows or my teeth through my lips. Basically hung things up this fall, but was kicking around with the Rough Riders in the USL2 and the Greek Americans in the Cosmo League, and it's been a great experience that I'll never forget.
Yeah, both of those groups have had some big success recently. I know you're a part of both of those, so continue to play at a good level and stay involved, and get scratch that itch, right? As a lot of people say.
I know, and I definitely, in the short time that I've stopped playing myself, every time I watch others play, I just want to be back out in the field, but. There's a time for everything, and sometimes you just got to hang things up. But can't wait to be back out in the field once this whole thing's over.
Yeah, I hear you. So let's talk a little bit while you were at Hofstra. Give a little bit of your experience off the field, right? The academic piece, the living the life as an athlete, the juggling of your time. Maybe you got an experience or two, right? Something that you could give a piece of advice for that, also for young guys, right, looking to go and play in college.
Yeah, well, listen, honestly, I can't probably go into some of the stories, but definitely was a good time. Being a local guy, I'm only about 25 minutes. I grew up 25 minutes from Hofstra, so feasibly I could have commuted, but I thought it would be best, and my parents thought it would be best that I stayed on campus and really was able to experience the full college life. Being an athlete at Hofstra, it's obviously demanding with between practice and school and games and travel and all that stuff. It's a lot to handle, but there's a lot of things in place and a lot of people to help you to get through that time. I was actually a business major. I have my undergraduate in finance, and then when I went over to Molloy and started coaching, I was able to pick up my MBA. So. It's been a good time. It's been a lot of hard work, but definitely a good time.
Soccer's created a lot of opportunity, right? Giving you a lot. That's fantastic.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's get into the coaching side of it, right? You finished playing at Hofstra, got into coaching. Let's talk a little bit about that and how you got over to Molloy.
Yeah, like I mentioned, while I was still kicking around a little bit for the Rough Riders and the Greeks, I started coaching at Molloy that next season, right after I graduated at Hofstra. I was lucky enough to get connected with Danny Longo, who I'm very proud to say is probably one of my best friends now. And like Richie, not many better guys out there. But I can't thank him enough for giving me my start that 2014 season in the fall. And I've been here ever since. So it was a great opportunity that I was able to take advantage of, and now it's basically become my career, which is awesome.
Yeah, I know that Longo guy pretty well. Was a teammate of mine at LIU. I don't know why to this day, but he had me in his wedding party as well. So great family, great guy. Again, another guy that big names, done a lot for soccer, done a lot in the community. And again, somebody that you can really trust, right? Danny's a fantastic guy. So I feel the same way. So as a coach, let's talk a little bit about now with Molloy. What type of soccer do you like? What is it that is attractive to you so that you can enjoy your time as a coach and at the same time balance that to get results?
You're saying in terms of what type of player that we're looking for?
No, let's just talk about overall how you want to play the game, how you want to set your team up, right?
Yeah. Obviously, we would prefer to play as much as we can, but I think that we're in the belief that there's a time and a place. We want to develop and challenge players, but we also need to get results, as you know. There's certain surfaces and fields throughout our conference and maybe the region that doesn't allow you to completely play the style of play that you want to get those results. And sometimes you have to play a little bit differently. I think everything is really down to the specific game and to get a result in that game. If we can knock the ball about and play through midfield, awesome. If we need to win a game 1-0 off a set piece, we'll do that as well. So we're really looking for kids that are mentally tough and have good positive attitudes that are going to buy into the game plan each and every week.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about Molloy, division, location, conference. Talk a little bit about the school in terms of majors as well. So let's talk about the sporting side of it. Let's talk about the academic piece and then the social piece there as well.
Yeah. I think Molloy is a great place to be for all local and international players. From an international side of things, you're right outside New York City, and there's not better areas in the United States, in my opinion, than Long Island. You're 25, 30 minutes on the train to the city, and then you're 15 minutes to the beach in the summer. You can't pick much a better place. For the local guys, it's a great atmosphere and a great program to be a part of. All the guys are super duper close. The alumni participation, I can't even compare it to many other schools, with the guys constantly coming down to our matches, and then also alumni events. We typically play our alumni every single fall and spring. This past fall, we won 12 games. We play in the East Coast Conference in Division II. We won 12 games. We were ranked regionally throughout the year. And we ultimately ended up just missing the tournament. Probably one of the last one or two teams out. The school has a very, very good setup. It's very modern, with most of the buildings pretty much being put in the last 10, 12 years, which you don't really get in many schools around the country. Enrollment's continuing to grow. Very, very good nursing program, #1 nursing program in the country, top business program, top science programs, and top education programs. So if that's something that you're looking to get into. But like I said, it's very rare, especially in New York, for a school to be continuing to expand and grow, both from an enrollment side of things, and then also continuing to invest into the infrastructure of buildings and dorms and all that stuff. So if there's anybody that's watching this, we have a virtual tour that's actually going to be put out this Sunday. So if you need any information on that, you can find that on the site.
Excellent. So let's get into the recruiting, right? And the type of player. What's the fit, the player that fits best academically, athletically, right? Style, type of player, socially, and then the financial piece. So How does that recruiting work for you?
Yeah. I mean, when we're looking for a player, right, the obvious things are, you see the size, you see the athleticism, you see the technical qualities, how they pass a ball, can they drive a ball properly? But there's really no rhyme or reason to being able to be effective on the field. If you have one of those attributes and you use it properly, you can be a solid contributing player. It's really just about finding that right fit and that right program, like you mentioned. We're very, very detailed oriented. So we believe in very small, minute things, and how they impact the game in a big way. So can you mark properly on set pieces? Do you close down properly? Do you make smart decisions when you're on the ball? Can you organize well? Are you mentally tough? All that stuff plays a huge, huge role in games. There's tons of good soccer players out there, and there's tons of good teams out there. Oftentimes it's that one mistake or that one moment of brilliance that ultimately wins games. And if we can be prepared for all those matches, it's only going to help us. So we're looking for those kids that are smart IQ kids, that have the ability to implement different tactics and ways that we want to play in certain games very, very well. So how can you be better than the guy standing next to you or the guy across from you on the field? So oftentimes as an incoming player, especially as an American player, as a freshman, maybe it takes a little time to adjust to those things. But can you and are you smart enough to really pick those things up and put them on the field?
GPA, SAT, coming out of high school, transfer, what's the model? What's the type that works best, fits best for you?
Listen,
acceptance, admissions, all that.
Yeah, as everybody's in this case, the higher the academics, the more it helps. In terms of getting academic money as an incoming player, it's an 1100 on the SAT. It's about an 85 to 88 is on the GPA side of things. Transfer wise, if you have over a 3.5, it helps. And then anything below that, you'll receive a small academic grant.
Excellent. And then for your recruiting, where are you actually going to find the players? How are you finding them? Video, going to the field. Are you staying local? Are you traveling abroad? Are you traveling East Coast to West Coast? Like, where exactly are you doing your recruiting?
It's a little bit of everything for us, right? For the internationals, because we don't have a huge travel budget, it tends to be more video. Anytime we're bringing in an international player, it obviously starts with that small clip or word of mouth. It's similar to you guys. And then go sports. Relying on the people that you trust, especially for the international side of things when you can't get out and maybe see them play on a weekend. And then locally, it's a bit of both, right? It maybe starts with a highlight clip, then maybe you're getting a full match or you're going to watch a game. But for us, we try to really understand all the players in the area specifically, whether that's Long Island or the 5 boroughs. And then if there's a player that sparks our interest outside of that area, we'll go after them as well.
All right, great. If there was a little bit of advice that you would want to give to those that are considering Molloy or going through this process with recruiting, again, on and off the field, academically speaking, SAT wise, what would be some advice you would want to give?
Right now, Molloy has I know the NCAA has said that they're going to waive possibly the SATs with everything that's going on. Molloy has not taken that stance, so right now you still need an SAT score to gain admittance into Molloy. In terms of the recruiting side of things, just be proactive, right? Be able to provide us some video and a little background on yourself if maybe we haven't seen you play. Just be proactive in the whole process. Don't be afraid to reach out to schools and do your research accordingly, whether that's watch some full matches during this time that you have by yourself to really understand the way the team plays and their mentality and all that stuff. But just be smart about the way you go about it. Don't just send out vague emails. Make sure you're on top of your stuff and understand the programs that you're reaching out to and the coaches that you're reaching out to.
Yeah, I think from our point of view, right, we've been working together for a long time. Obviously, I go way back with Danny, so there's personal relationship there as well, growing up together. We've been unique in players that we've been able to put in there with you, right, Ty? We have international grad school. We have, right now, we also have a straight up transfer, Division I to Division II. We have other transfers, Division II to Division II. And then we got some high school kids that have come into with you. So I would say it's very easy to work with you guys. I would say that it's a fantastic place. Call it a hidden gem, so to speak. Maybe many don't know about. And the ones that have been there, I know, to your point with the alumni, they've been very appreciative of what they've gotten, right, with the success both on and off the field. Yeah, I think that's about it for the call today. Anything else you wanted to add or something to shed some light on?
I mean, I really appreciate you having me on today, Scott. Obviously, always a great time speaking. We're always in constant communication.
Yes, we are.
Highly recommend it to any domestic players locally or internationally that are looking for some assistance in this process, because Scott and Marco can really they really have their finger on the pulse on what everybody's doing and what everybody needs throughout the college space and where everybody's at recruiting wise. So if you're looking for some help, it's definitely highly recommended.
I appreciate the kind words. Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure. So I look forward to our long phone calls for sure. So big season coming up, right?
Yeah.
several of our guys coming in, big expectations, no pressure, and off to finalizing those last couple pieces, and then off to 21s. So look forward to speaking again, Ty. I appreciate your time, man. Have a great day.
Talk soon, Scotty.
Ciao.